you're all about the leaders in your book. What about the voters who are okay with these know-nothings? What's your perspective?
Well, it's an interesting question because, when I went, this is a research project. This is like writing a term paper. I did a lot of research, and I went in with certain biases, certain kind of suppositions that some of which turned out to be true, and some of which didn't turn out to be true. And I sort of thought, well, where this is all going to lead me is that if we had better education in the country, then we would have better voters. We'd make better decisions. And I wasn't alone in this because the guy who also believed this was FDR. He said, education is the key to democracy because you can't have an uneducated populace making such important decisions. I have a slightly different feeling now, having done the research. And look, I'm not a historian. I'm not a sociologist or a neurologist like George Santos. I'm just a guy with opinions. But the fact is, smart people make bad voting decisions. And a lot of smart people voted for Donald Trump and would vote for him again. And in Germany, I hate to keep on bringing up this guy, but a lot of educated people voted for Hitler. They thought that Hitler was their best bet to keep communism out of Germany and to defeat communism. So the problem is we have all kinds of confirmation biases. We come into an election with all kinds of biases. And just being smart isn't enough. We do need to be, again, persuaded by somebody who is a great, I hate to say great communicator because that sounds like Reagan, but who's got that personal touch and that ability to cut through. And where I sort of come to at the end of the book is not, despite everything I've told you tonight, it's really not a depressing read. I am an optimist. Maybe I'm too optimistic. Maybe I'm too idealistic. But I'm from the Midwest. It's kind of a cliche to say that Midwesterners have this kind of optimistic, can-do attitude. But that's just sort of my legacy. I'm stuck with that. And so I believe that we can do better and that we can improve as a country. But I think there's some important steps towards doing that. And by the way, I'm not trying to diminish the importance of education. Education is super important for so many things. I just don't think it's the silver bullet that's going to solve our problems with our democracy. So let me try this out on you and see what you think. And it's in the book, so you can take a look at it and see what you think. I have this trickle-down theory. We heard a lot about trickle-down economics, and Reagan started that. Trickle-down economics has never worked, okay? It keeps on coming. Every time somebody wants to cut taxes, they say, trickle-down, that'll work. I do believe, however, that trickle-down ignorance works. That if our politicians say stupid things, even if they're smart like Ron DeSantis, or if they're stupid like Donald Trump or Marjorie Taylor Greene, we look to politicians, as much as I make fun of them, most people look to politicians as authority figures. They're the people who supposedly know stuff. So ignorance trickles down, and politicians make all of us dumber as voters. So what's the solution to that? Well, I think if ignorance trickles down, knowledge can rise up from us. And how do you do that? You turn off cable news, you get off social media, except for my account, and you get active politically on a very granular local level. You canvass, you register voters, you get elected to your school board. You get elected to the board of your local library. Now, to give you some idea, I am putting my money where my mouth is because I wrote this in the book, and then somebody in my town, I live in Hanover, New Hampshire, somebody in my town said, well, why don't you volunteer to be on the board of the library then? And I had to really think about this because one thing I really am bad at is working with other people. It's really a hole in my game. Because in meetings, I have this tendency, if somebody says something stupid, to sort of roll my eyes or sigh heavily like Al Gore at the George W. Bush debate. I just have a real hard time containing my contempt for my fellow humans. So that's something I'm going to have to learn. I've got the growth mindset now. I'm going to try to learn how not to do that. I'm going to try to learn how to be a team player. But my feeling is if I'm making that sacrifice, everybody here at the Progressive Forum can also do so. So we're all like freaking out about 2024 and stuff like that. So watching MSNBC is not going to win one vote, folks. It's not going to change anything. All it's going to do is it's going to take time away from time where you could be out canvassing or registering people to vote or doing anything for a local candidate or running for local office yourself. I don't want to single out MSNBC because I think all the cable news networks are kind of equally hilarious. But MSNBC is like, we libs tend to gravitate towards it because it reinforces things that we think we already know. So it's really like, it's kind of like Fox for vegans. It's like, you know, it's just like, it makes us feel good because, oh great, there are all these people who agree with us. But it doesn't really advance the ball just to sit there on your couch and watch that. Also, I should add, MSNBC has the worst slogan of any television network, or really any product ever. They had the slogan, "Lean forward." That is also the official slogan of the rectal exam. I mean, I want to know what the meeting was like when the Brain Trust and MSNBC decided that "Lean forward" was their best possible slogan. I mean, what was their second choice? You might feel some pressure? I mean, I don't know. But anyway, I don't want to beat up on them because they're, you know, I love Rachel Maddow and she's a great, you know, talent and a great writer and all that. But it's just, you know, if we're spending all of our time watching cable news and, you know, getting into fights on social media with like Trump people, then the other side automatically wins. Automatically wins. Because they've taken your energy away from what really would be productive, which is seizing political power. That's what this is about. It's not about winning an argument on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. It's about politics is for power. It's for gaining power and making change. And the right wing has known that for a long time. If you read Jane Mayer's book, Dark Money, she talks about how they've spent decades trying to control the judiciary and think tanks, controlling the universities, and they've been very patient and very systematic. And now we've got to do that too, and we've got to wake up. So those are my marching orders, I guess.
Thank you.